So I got a chance to play against OuterOrange on one of her streams, maybe last Thursday at the time of recording this, and it was a super fun game. So I asked Orange if I could do my post-commentary style over the video and just kind of record straight from the stream, and she said yes. So thank you to Orange for the game, and of course for letting me do this, because I really do enjoy kind of breaking down my games and such, and just to be able to kind of show off a game against a YouTuber that, and really a member of the Vanguard community who I very much respect and look up to. Just great opportunity all around. So let's get into the game here. So this is a match straight out of really a game out of set 8, and I get to go first. I'm playing Maelstrom, Orange is playing Arkhite, and of course going first with Maelstrom is great because it means I get to my Persona Rise first. I can do a ton of attacks. Maelstrom can do up to 6 attacks, and the Persona Ride power is super crucial to make those 6 attacks absolutely devastating, kind of like how Magnolia is as well, though instead of attacking with the whole board, you have a lot of restand effects, which is really neat to see. So I start off here. Of course, you see Arkhite. I've got my Officer Cadet Eric, and we're just off to the races here. So I only mulligan 1, so I had a pretty good hand here. Discard the Inlet Pulse because, of course, I can get it back with the Blue Storm Armada off that I can search off of Theo, so not too worried here. Orange discards the draw trigger, goes into the Arkhite, and, of course, searches out the Torrential Energy Research, that beautiful FR. And here she can just start thinning her deck, setting up to set up big power on her later turns. And that is, she calls down the Mechani, Soul Charge 1. So some really cool cards that we're seeing from Orange's side here, just ways to kind of get more soul to be able to set up for, to draw off of Wavy Loss is the big thing. So of course here she searches out her Arkhite because she gets add 2, discards the Adaptant. So now she gets Persona Ride in hand, sets up the Adaptant, which is a phenomenal booster in Arkhite specifically, and of course sets it up in her Order Zone and calls an Adaptant as well, so she does have it in hand. So really powerful here. Starts swinging, and I just decide to block the first one just to use the 15k shield, and this was just the most optimal guard pattern because it would have, even if I checked defense trigger, would have hit anyway. So here I discard heal, kind of prioritize to keep my pieces, so I'm going first to utilize them, just kind of a big rush to kind of win sooner. And here I get to ride up into Algos and search out my Blue Storm Armada card, Judgment Maelstrom. Really cool FFR here. Not FFR, sorry, an FR, Blue Storm Armada. Gotta search out the really nice looking ones. And Orange and I were talking about how gorgeous these cards can look, just the high rarity stuff. So here, just swing with Algos. I want to see the damage is the thing. So I just kind of take it. I do check a crit here. She hits the grade 3 and a draw, so not too bad on her side. Draw really does help, just kind of build up hand size to survive my onslaught that is coming here. And I unfortunately do check a PG, which kind of hurts because this I do like PGs into this deck with the power it can gain. So of course Orange rides up into grade 2 Arkhite, searches out the other Torrential Energy Research as always, and here just kind of debating on how much you want to push and such. That Mechani is no longer hitting, but here can set up the second Torrential Energy Research to reveal top 5, grabs a PG and the I forget exactly what that card's name is. I didn't run it in my list. I know I recommended actually running it, so nice to see it here. So of course, adding the PG to hand as always, discarding that because that can always go back into Order Zone. Just throw the Mechani into Soul because you can do that even though you have no Mechanis to call out, and that is perfectly fine just to get the extra Soul for the Wavy Loss. It's pretty much a way to generate some extra soul and just get a free draw to cycle the Mechani is really what it is, which isn't too bad there. So does check a crit here. I check Judgment Maelstrom and Inlet Pulse, but of course I've got my one Judgment Maelstrom, so I'm not too worried, and of course my own Inlet Pulse set up in the drop zone. So here, right into the gorgeous FFR Maelstrom. I actually just got in the mail that day, or just like show that off. Fortunately, I really couldn't see my camera too well there, so not the best showing of it. I was just trying to do that really quickly. It is truly gorgeous, and one of these days I will properly show it off to the camera, I promise. But here, just kind of setting up, off top 7 of the Algo search, I do find myself a Wheel Assault, so I will be able to set up multiple attacks. I don't remember if I do it here. I don't think you should do it here on your first grade 3 turn because your opponent can see check damage triggers. Unless you're like throwing down an extra, your opponent doesn't check any triggers and you just threw down an extra Inlet Pulse, I think that's perfectly fine because you're going to throw down the Inlet Pulse anyway. But I don't see any reason to commit extra cards when you don't really have the numbers and you can just get blocked by defensive triggers. So here, first misplay, I call the Adamantis Friend and give it to Wheel Assault, and I just kind of got a bit flustered there. I don't know what it is about playing on camera sometimes. I just get shaky. I should have given it to the Tidal Assault here, and I get super punished by that defensive trigger because if I given the power to Tidal Assault, even though it wouldn't have hit here, it would have hit with Adamantis. So huge misplay here, and I'm never going to forget this one now. I still haven't forgotten it since. Adamantis, give it to the Tidal Assault, because even if my opponent hadn't checked the trigger, Tidal Assault hits, it forces a 10k shield, or if my opponents are at 13k, it can still hit, and then it can restand and make a 23k column, meaning it hits over defensive trigger, regardless if it's grade 2 or grade 3, unless it's like MLB or something. But anyway, or Bruce with Stephanie behind it. But here, I just kind of start swinging again, go Maelstrom here. Orange decides to PG that after I snipe the Adapt and drew myself a card. Not the best drive checks here, but it's fine. Put the Inlet Pulse Assault, draw a card. That's exactly what I want to do to set up for my next turn. So here we're even on damage, 3-3. Not too bad here. Orange discards the crit trigger to go into Arkhite and sets up the third Torrential Energy Research. It's a great way to thin the deck, set up your orders to kind of hoping to check offensive triggers here on this turn when your deck is the most compressed, since after this point she's going to start sending back triggers as well, and the deck's going to get shuffled as, or not triggers, normally the deck's going to get shuffled as well. So here discards the Cyclogarde, I believe is what it's called, and adds the grade 3 to hand, just a really great attacker here. Calls the Wavy Loss, Soul Blast 2, just be able to draw that card here and set up more monsters to be able to put into the order zone. So you're discarding all, or resting all 3 to set up her 3 monsters, of course. So here, yep, Adopt and be able to set up so she can start gaining power and swinging for huge numbers, just as Arkhite loves to do. Of course, got that monster here. Now it's going to swing for 23k, and I believe its ability is the on-hit soul to draw, or might be draw and soul. I don't entirely remember. It's a pretty neat card just to kind of generate some extra soul and cycle the hand as well. So here, just again, just say huge numbers and can start swinging. So swings with the Wavy Loss for 13 against my Maelstrom, so not a big number here. But here I'm debating, because of course if she swings with Vanguard, yep, and I choose to take it. Draw trigger, really great there, power. And now the important thing here is when Orange attacks, she cannot heal if she drive checks any heals. That's the other reason why I wanted to take that damage, despite it being an easy guard, is I can deny heals here and then also potentially check triggers to be able to better guard stuff. And like a 5k shield, these numbers aren't too different that I wouldn't change my guard pattern too much. So here, of course, just PG uses Elementaria Sanctitude because Arkhite is swinging in for 33k, huge swing, and the Cyclogarde isn't necessarily the best call, but still gets the job done. It's a really good interceptor. So it does check the heal here. As I said, blocking the heal, which is exactly why I took the damage, then can just swing with this grade 3 for 23k. So here, since I checked the defensive trigger, it's a 5k guard anyway. So by taking that damage, I got a 5, yeah, I just intercepted Tesla because I can recall it. But here, just kind of really neat. This one's a 30k because of the heal trigger as well. But just again, I could have guarded the first time with the heal trigger, 5k shield, but I ended up being able to just guard that with the 5k shield anyway. So here, take it, it's a crit trigger, and I do that just, I think my hand was pretty stacked with cards I wanted to play, so I didn't really want to guard in this way as I start pushing Orange. Getting back to that after trying to die here, what was I saying? Yeah, so I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but pretty much getting to call out an Inlet Pulse. I get to call one out with Vanguard's ability as well. I set up the Judgment Maelstrom to call out an Tidal Assault here. Unfortunately, no Persona Ride. That kind of hurts here, but we're going to make do best we can overall. So, oh yeah, I took the 5th damage because Maelstrom's the last swing, Orange needs to take 2 checks, and I can't check heals, and she can potentially check heals, so it just kind of denies more heals and gives me more kind of oomph to my offense here. So this time I make the correct play, Judgment Maelstrom, give Tidal Assault the 5k, that way it can hit, as I explained earlier. So here I, of course, swing Inlet Pulse first, because first battle is when I get to restand, and here just kind of Orange still can take 2 damage, so of course 2 defensive checks will definitely shut me down, but no defensive check here. I love to see that, so I can restand my Inlet Pulse, swing with Tidal Assault, and I use a skill to Soul Blast 1 to give my Vanguard 5k, that way it can hit over defensive as well. Orange decides to intercept here, and I use Tidal Assault skill, of course, to restand, and I swing Inlet Pulse here again for 13, kind of taking advantage of the fact that other column can still hit over defensive, so swing with the column that cannot. Doesn't really put on too much pressure, but it's still forcing a lot of cards out of hand. So here I swing with my Maelstrom because I have not checked OT. Draw 1, discard the Adapt, and of course getting rid of that booster behind Vanguard. Orange decides to PG it, and pretty much here my goal, just if I can check over trigger here, though in hindsight, no, it was right, because now I can keep this one, the Tidal Assault column, and opt to not swing and such. It's just a more optimal column, because even then I could still give like crits and such to it. So here, guards that easily, blocks with the Tidal Assault, puts both to soul, and draws. So I think I said that a bit confusingly. I didn't swing with the Tidal Assault first, just so I can put triggers on it, because I wouldn't necessarily want to switch with Wheel Assault, is the best way to put it there. And there really isn't any synergies with Overtrigger, because the front power wouldn't have mattered, because it would not be in the front row. That's the big thing. So here, another Torrential Energy Research after a Persona Ride, and choosing to actually keep the Wavy Loss and discard the Arkhite. And that just kind of shows that Orange probably is just trying to finish, either has a Persona right in hand or is not too concerned about it, would rather just get the draw and set up a better board here, which is understandable. So of course, resting all 4 orders just to set up so many cards. Of course, Arkhite is also a monster, which is really neat. So you gain the power, add it to hand if she so chose. But here, just kind of setting it up so that Wavy Loss is swinging in, well, pretty much all of them are swinging in for 28k. And here, Orange actually does forget to use the skill of Arkhite to increase the power of Wavy Loss, and she's been going at this for a while. Like, fatigue is real. Like, can you I cannot imagine doing this for this long and not making a misplay. I mean, mad respect to anyone who plays in long tournaments like that. It's crazy. But here, just throws the Wavy Loss with the Arkhite skill after I block with a 50k shield, recalls it, and remembers to do it this turn. So again, could have swung with a 33k attacker first, but is what it is. So here I just decide to PG it, and here checks critical trigger. Bit unfortunate because I do not actually have great shield value in hand. My drive checks last turn were not optimal for guarding. I got cards, I think I got a 5k shield and then I believe an Inlet Pulse, so not optimal at all to guard. Unfortunately, this trigger here makes it even tougher to guard. So here, of course, just swinging, I'm just double checking numbers. Here I decide to PG this one. I believe it's the one that has the crit as well, and I had to take it, but thankfully I heal. 6 damage heal coming in, made it for that my drive checks were so dried, giving me the exact trigger I needed. So I get another turn here. I draw. I have Persona Ride this time, so I can just start rushing my Orange. She's at 5 damage, meaning she has to guard every single one of it or hope for heals. So here I discard the order I did not play. I discard it to call out the Inlet Pulse. I have the final Judgment Maelstrom to call out the final Inlet Pulse. And here I was discarding a lot of guard early on, trying to keep my pieces, because this deck does has Retire, but I'm wondering if Orange isn't running it based on the fact she's running that grade 3. So frankly, I probably was a bit keeping my pieces to attack too close to my hand, and I probably should have been discarding some of them and hoping to draw into them later and keeping more shield value, I think was the main misplay in this game, and I just got lucky that I healed here. So here, of course, we have the Pulse. Orange has to block it. I restand it. So we go Tidal Assault here for 30k because I still gave it to the Judgment Maelstrom just for that, and Orange just decides to take it. Yeah, and then there's where all those were. And yeah, that's the game here. Just really tough. Is a good back and forth here and kind of shows the power of these two decks as well. And Maelstrom being able to, once the opponent's at 5 damage, just barrage them with so many just powerful attacks under Persona Ride. I think it's a really good showing of just kind of some of the fun decks from set 8. Not necessarily the best ones. These two aren't really the best of the set, but some really fun ones. So again, a huge thank you to Orange for the opportunity to play you on stream. I think it's a really cool thing that she occasionally will have these streams where she just plays against viewers as well, and I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to do so. And also thank you for letting me use the stream VOD to record this video as well. I genuinely had a really fun time with this game, just even past just being able to play against someone that I look up to in the community and respect. I generally thought it was a fun game, just geeking out over high rarity cards, fun plays, kind of reveling over the misplays. It was just a good time. This is the kind of Vanguard I love to play. But that enough being said there, if you enjoyed this video, I want to know, what is your favorite tech for a deck that you've played? Because I really like the Adamantis in this deck, really letting me actually utilize Tidal Assault very, very effectively when I'm not under Persona Ride, and even to kind of bump me over defensive triggers under Persona Ride. So I want to know what your techs are. But hopefully I should be getting my new computer really soon, and once it does, look forward to more content. Well, especially once I get it, look forward to more content coming out from me real soon.